You want to hit the target more often in Battlefield 1, and I'm going to show you how to do that with my aiming and recoil management guide. Here we go. Techniques. This is section 1 of 3. We're going to go through the aspects of each section quickly so you can get the info fast without the fluff, because landing shots isn't just about basic recoil control, even if it looks like it is. Firstly, crosshair placement often beats mechanical aiming. If you have your sights where an enemy is likely to come from, or at least near the likely area, you have to do less aiming when they appear. It's a huge aspect of games such as CSGO, but it can absolutely be applied to other shooters such as Battlefield. Good start? If so, consider subscribing for daily Battlefield content, including short streams and videos, especially as there's a new Battlefield coming. Thank you very much. Now, strafing, or at least lining shots up with your feet. Hitting the target isn't just about aiming in and pulling the trigger. The common assumption is that you have to bring up your sights and then move either your stick or your mouse to track the target and take them out. And yeah, obviously sometimes you do, but you can also, depending on the gun, the range, and your ability, track with your feet. In fact, sometimes it's easier, meaning less missed shots. So have a play around with it. If the situation allows, just sidestep to stay on target and see if you're the sort of player that can utilize it for better results. If not, just keep aiming the normal way. Again, it's not an always option or a never option, it's just worth giving it a go to try to add it to your playing arsenal. Now of course, when you are aiming down sight and tracking targets the normal way, you are actually doing two things: controlling recoil and trying to line up your shot horizontally. Don't forget to lightly pull down when you need to, so you don't send your shots flying over the enemy. Yes, this is very simple, but it is so important, and I still see long-time players messing this up. Do both at the same time to land more shots, and the more you use a gun, the more you build up your muscle memory for the recoil control. But why are we so obsessed with aiming down the sights anyway? This game has trench variants. As I said in my last video, 10 tips for beginner BF1 players, link in the description. The trench variants are designed for hip fire, so I need to stop seeing so many people bring up their sights every time they try to kill someone. With a trench variant, you'd be amazed at the range you can hit people from if you just give it a go and control the recoil from the hip. And an aspect of this video is recoil control, or how to get zero or near zero recoil, or at least that's what it looks like. Trust me here, the trench variants have easy to control recoil from the hip, if you're using them at the correct range. If you're struggling with the recoil when hip firing, you're likely just using it in the wrong situation. Very easy to then get a grip on when you should and shouldn't hip fire based on that alone. And if you do need to ADS with a trench variant, but you find the recoil wild, just try to tap or burst fire and see if the gun responds well. Which brings us to our next point: pace your shots. If you're using a semi-automatic weapon, you don't always want to spam the gun as fast as possible. Firstly, because it's making you miss due to recoil, then obviously you should slow down anyway. But also, this game has spread, so some guns, like a lot of semi-auto rifles, become less accurate as you fire more quickly for longer ranges. Slow it down a tad when you need to, and get used to how fast each semi-automatic gun should be fired, because what good is recoil control if your bullets aren't hitting anyway? Don't forget, you can make it way easier to actually track your target in BF1 by spotting them first, then use that red icon above them to more easily stay on target as they move around the landscape. As you're tracking those moving targets, remember to lead your shots for longer ranges. BF1 has bullet travel time and bullet drop, so the further away your target is, the more you'll need to aim in front of them as they move, and above them to account for bullet drop at very long ranges. The amount changes for each different weapon, so give guns a chance to grow on you so you can get used to those aspects over time. Positioning, by the way, also beats all of these points. If you can surprise the enemy or have better cover than them, it's obviously much easier to win the fight. So try to think about that as you move towards enemy positions. Now we've reached section 2, settings. You want to reduce your recoil, right? Well, I personally use these two settings combined for that. ADS FOV, or aim down sight field of view, turned on, and I use a wide overall field of view. Some people, me, really like it. Others don't, so you'll have to experiment with it and decide for yourself. What they do is they give you a less zoomed in view both in and out of aiming down sight, so it can be harder to see the enemy sometimes to pick them out, but it makes recoil control look and feel easier, at least to those who like it. Again, me, and a lot of other streamers. Visual recoil appears reduced. You may honestly not get on with it as I've said, but if the problem is that you find it too hard to see the enemy, remember you can manually spot them with RB, R1 or Q depending on your platform and if you're using default controller or keyboard settings. Now also, check your sensitivity please. You almost certainly don't want to leave it on the default setting. You can do a practical test for this. Method 1 is just play and try to be very conscious of if you're over aiming, as in flying past the target when you're trying to aim at them, which means your sensitivity might be too high, or under aiming, as in it's taking you too long to get to the target or you're not getting to them at all before you die. This means your sensitivity might be too low. Method 2 is you can just go into a lobby and just pick some things to try to aim at from the environment and see if you find you're going past them or not reaching them very quickly, if you don't want to try it on real enemies. While you're at it with the sensitivity, decide if you want uniform soldier aiming turned off or on. It's a setting designed to help the guns feel the same to aim regardless of what type and what magnification. Some like it again and some don't. Keep it in mind. You can also look for aim acceleration for both console and PC. On 0, your aiming speed stays consistent. The higher you have it, the faster adjusting your aim will increase in speed as you hold the stick or move the mouse. So if you're on console and you hold the stick to the right, it will go a little slowly at first and then speed up and up and up and up and up. Whereas if the acceleration is on 0, it will go the same speed regardless. Whatever you prefer, go with that. And to round out settings, check what you want to do with aim assist. I'm talking about on console for this one. Actually have no idea if PC has any comparable setting for this. You can let me know in the comments. Anyway, this applies to auto rotation, pulling you to the target, and aim slowdown, helping you to stay on target. Do you want them on or off? Remember these are here and play around with them until you get what feels right. I've played with them both off or on. There's pros and cons either way. And we reach section 3, variables. First off, weapon selection, also including weapon variants. As mentioned earlier, the game has trench variants, but there are also lots of others such as storm and factory and so on. Consider how you play or what the map is going to require and select accordingly. Close range map, maybe an SMG or shotgun, perhaps a trench variant for hip firing. Longer range, maybe a sniper or telescopic variant, and everything in between. Match the weapon to the situation and your playstyle, because obviously recoil and aiming become a way larger issue if you're not properly equipped for the situation in the first place. Keeping in mind that the guns have mechanics to them as well. It's not just point and shoot. If you don't abide by the mechanics, they won't be accurate anyway, and it can make you feel like your aiming or recoil control are bad. If you're really struggling with a certain variant type, find yourself an old video to learn how they work, or at least just read the little tooltip when you select your weapon. It won't give you all the information you need, but it's a start. And to top this all off, it's not all your fault anyway. Maybe. You might have the best aim and the best recoil control in the world, but if you're on high ping, or the enemy's on high ping, or the server is being weird, then shots don't register properly anyway, and things don't tend to line up. There can be huge desync issues between your perspective and the enemy perspective of the same fight. It's not about blaming all your struggles on this. Take accountability and responsibility, of course, but always be aware that there are some things you just can't control. If you have aiming or recoil tips, throw them in the comments below. Obviously leave me a like if you enjoyed. Here's my beginner tips video if you want more, an easy click, and remember to subscribe for daily Battlefield content from me. I always appreciate that. See you next time.